Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's informative webinar about our upcoming workshop, AI for School Leaders, Catch Up and Lead Forward. My name is Jason Slabotsky. I'm the Lead Educator Success Specialist for the UTeach CS team here at the University of Texas at Austin. And the reason we're doing this informative webinar is because we have a really great workshop coming up for school leaders who might not feel totally comfortable using AI. All right, so the purpose of this webinar is I want to show you what we're going to be doing in the workshop, tell you the audience we're looking for this workshop, so that maybe you'd want to join. Okay, so just to recap quickly that the workshop dates are November 12th and 13th. There's two 90-minute Zoom sessions. And we're going to be basically showing you how to integrate AI into your school or your district as a school leader. And we'll be covering all these different things that you see on the list here. But during this webinar, I just want to do a little bit of a deeper dive into it. If you're joining us live on the webinar, please, if you have any questions, just hold them to the very end. And I will be sending out the recording of this to everybody as soon as it's over. So let's just jump right in. All right, so the point of the workshop is so that school leaders can get hands-on experience with AI. The only way to get better at using AI is to actually get in there, start writing prompts, and start figuring out how it can help you, first in your everyday tasks, and then with planning, future-proofing your school, and being able to use AI to predict trends. So this is the actual workshop that you will be joining in November. Today, I'm just going to roll through what we're going to be covering over the 2 days of the workshop to see if it's right for you. All right, so let's just jump right in. Guess what? You're not alone, right? I've done a lot of workshops, and honestly, it does not matter if I'm doing a workshop for teachers, administrators, principals, pretty much across the board. Every time I ask people the following question, how much do you use AI in your everyday work life? It's usually pretty much right on. 25% say they don't use it at all. 50% say they use it, they're exploring it, they like to use it on a daily basis. And then 25%, it's like their other spouse. It's like their R2D2 to Luke Skywalker. They use it for everything. They brainstorm with it, they bounce ideas off of it. And this workshop that I'll be facilitating is designed for the just getting started 25%. We're going to be doing this in a stress-free environment. I like to have fun. We're going to do it in a humorous and witty way. I want you to feel comfortable. All right. So the first thing I wanted to show was you're not alone. Okay. If you're just getting started, that's okay. 1 in 4 people out there are just like you. All right. Now, just to let you know, it is advancing pretty rapidly. Okay. 58% of school administrators now use AI often, but that's up 31% from last year. So you can see people are starting to learn this quickly so that they can get out ahead of this technology and really integrate it successfully into their schools. And that's really what we're going to discuss in the workshop. All right. Many leaders feel unprepared to guide AI use in their school. And only 35% of schools have clear AI policies in place. All right. So I just want you to know, and I'm going to make it nice and big. This session is designed to meet you where you are and help lead you where you need to go. So please, if you're not part of this 25%, please don't sign up for this workshop. Okay. This workshop is for people just getting started, that we can do some hands-on activities. I can give you some assignments to do on your own time if you choose to, so that you really can grasp what we're talking about here. Okay. Alrighty. So what are we going to start off talking about during the workshop? Okay. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about in the workshop is, how did we get here? Okay. It is very important to be able to understand, where did ChatGPT come from? And, when we say AI, I'm just going to say ChatGPT, but it doesn't matter which AI program you're using. Some of you might have Microsoft Copilot because you work in a school or in a business and they have a contract with Microsoft. Microsoft Copilot is ChatGPT. It's the same thing. All right. Google Gemini. Google Gemini is fantastic. Okay. Um, these are just some of the leading AI programs out there that you can be using. All right. And the reason I bring up Google Gemini and the reason we start here in the workshop is it's important to understand that ChatGPT came on the scene, but the technology that was developing it had been going on for decades, okay? And really, the powder keg moment of this explosion of artificial intelligence happens in 2012 when a grad student named Alex decided that in order to do image recognition, he needed stronger processing chips. And he literally went to Best Buy and bought some NVIDIA gaming chips. And that's what sparked this whole thing. So the very first assignment, we talk about AlexNet. We then go in to Google because believe it or not, this is Google's technology. All the greatness of ChatGPT was developed at Google. The story of ChatGPT is also the story of how did Google blow this? How did they not invent ChatGPT? All right. So we talk about Google. We talk about how all of a sudden neural networks started taking over your social media feeds. Remember when YouTube was just a website? When there wasn't a homepage, when it didn't tell you which videos to watch? All of these feeds on Instagram, on TikTok, it all stems from neural networks, the same technology underlining artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. Okay. And eventually we talk about 2017, and that's when Google taught basically AI how to think, how to speak like humans. And you might remember in 2017, when you would type something into your search bar in Google, it would kind of predict the next word that you were looking for. Now you know why that happened. It was because behind the scenes, they were pioneering this AI technology. And then finally, what happened? We're not talking about Google. Nope. ChatGPT storms on the scene and using all of Google's knowledge and technology and know-how and academic papers, they literally invent ChatGPT. It goes viral, and we haven't looked back since. All right, so this is where we start the workshop. It's important to understand where this technology came from so you can basically have a better understanding of it. And then we get into the nitty gritty. Okay. And when I say we get into the nitty gritty, we are going to start to prompt it like it's hot. I like to have fun in my workshops. Okay. The very first thing I got to teach you how to do is become good prompt writers. All right. Because you need to learn how to tell the AI what you want it to do. Now, a prompt is a prompt, right? It's an instruction that you give to the AI. But like anything else in computer science, the more detailed you are in the prompt, the better your prompt is. And I'll explain what I mean by better in 1 second. You're going to get better results. So, not to go too deep into this, but just to give you a little preview, we're going to do a deep dive into prompt writing. And what does make up a powerful prompt? It is these 5 things right here. Okay. You need to be specific. Okay. You need to say who it's for. You got to frame your audience, right? You're a school leader. Maybe you're making this for your teachers. Maybe you're writing it to English teachers. Maybe you're writing it to 9th grade parents of honors and accelerated social studies students. The more specific you are when you tell them who it's for, who the audience is for, the better the result will be. You want to break it into steps, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, breaking it into steps is what's the next phase. We're going to learn about ChatGPT 4, and then we're going to learn about ChatGPT 5. I know, why did they do this? We don't even know 4, and there's a 5. All right, but 5 is actually more for agents, and you have to write things into steps. All right, you need to pick a style, make it sound fun, engaging, sincere. All right, use examples. I want you to give me an example, but just use articles from the last year. These are all specifics of prompt writing. All right. And we will talk about adjectives, man. Adjectives have not been this important in your life since you've been 5 years old. We need to learn the adjectives that are going to give us the results we want, whether it's for school stuff, whether it's for style, whether it's for depth. All these different adjectives produce different results. Okay. So we will talk about writing prompts in this workshop. And then after we worry about writing prompts, we're going to dive right into agents. Okay. We will review ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 5. I'll explain to you why, when you use ChatGPT 4, it's really easy for you to get the results you want. It's because ChatGPT 4 is based on reasoning, it's designed to talk to humans. ChatGPT 5 is developed for agents. Okay. We're going to talk about what an agent is. An agent is the next step that this AI is going to. All right. They want you just to basically tell the AI a task to do, assign it some time to do it, and then the agent will fulfill it. Right? Sounds a lot like me. They're trying to replace everyday workers. All right. But we're going to talk about how you can use agents in your school to help you to design policies, to predict trends in your school. The agents are going to be the key to making you be able to do many different tasks at the same time. All right. And we will cover this in the workshop. And this is all just on our first day. We do prompt writing, and we do agents, and we talk about the history of ChatGPT. Okay. So now that you've learned all these basic skills in the first day, you're a great prompt writer. You can actually create your own agents. And literally 2 hours before my workshop started, you were part of that 25% of people who didn't feel confident. Well, now you're starting to feel confident. And when you come back for day 2, that's when I'm going to really hit the ground running with you. Okay. And we're really going to gear what we do on day 2 to what you need to do in your schools and in your districts. And the first thing I'll show you is how to use AI for policies for staffs and students, right? You need to have different policies in your school for staff, for students, maybe even for administration. All right. And we're going to talk about that. Okay. AI policy guardrails. Okay. We need to set policy so that we are adopting this technology, but we have guardrails in place. We don't want to stop innovation, but we want to steer it safely. All right. So I always like to say this, especially for your students. Let them use AI to brainstorm ideas, right? AI, ask it, can you generate 5 essay outlines for me on the topic of the Bermuda Triangle, right? But then submitting a full essay written by AI is 100% off limits. So these are the policies you're going to want to start talking about in your school. All right. Using AI for data driven instruction. Okay. We can actually take spreadsheets, okay, CSV files, upload them directly into ChatGPT, and then just say, hey, based on the document I just uploaded, can you predict what trends are going to happen for math, for social studies, for attendance? Okay. All this data, you're going to be able to use it, all right, to make decisions in your school, in your district. Okay. So you can ask AI to analyze housing, all right, economic forecasts for students in your schools, all right. You can actually interview your students and give them Google form or a survey, and then ask the AI to instantly read all the comments and tell me, what can I do differently? What's the biggest priority going on in the school right now? Maybe it's cafeteria line wait times, all right. This is what AI is going to allow you to do, okay? You're going to use it, okay, for staff and resource management, right? It's going to be like your super duper HR assistant, all right? You'll be able to use it to flag students at risk, all right? If you have teachers who are unhappy, you'll be able to work with them, all right? These are the different things we're going to learn in day 2, all right? And then more importantly, we want to use AI so that you can future proof your district or your school, all right? You can upload all this data that you're getting, test results, all right? Demographic information about your students, about, their financial situations. And then we'll be able to use AI and ChatGPT to tell us about predicted outcomes. And then what can we do to future proof our school? If we see that attendance might start to become an issue because of different factors going on, well, then we can better plan for it. Maybe get out in front of it, offer before and after school classes, maybe even offer evening classes. So we're going to use AI for all of these different things. And that's the way this workshop is structured. Okay. It is structured so that on day 1, we get you feeling confident with AI. We start building up all your skills. You're going to learn how to prompt. You're going to start to mess around with agents. And this is an iterative process. Okay. You're going to have to type in prompts and you can never be satisfied with the first result. We're going to iterate, iterate, iterate. Right. And then as you get more comfortable, you're going to say to yourself, I can't believe I was able to do my job without AI. All right. Because AI really is the ultimate co-pilot. It's the ultimate R2D2. It's the ultimate C3PO. The challenge is using it the correct way. Now, for people who are older, who are in administrative positions, it's easy for us to draw that line, right? And that line is you have to ask yourself, what skills am I comfortable handing off to AI? And which skills do I still need to do myself in order to preserve human centered inquiry, right? And we have to think about that for our students too. If something's going to tell them the answer, then what's the skill we're going to have to develop in the coming years to make them successful in the workplace? I mean, over the last 10 to 20 years, we focused on questioning, critical thinking skills, problem solving. Well, now in the AI era, what's that skill we need to teach? Is it creativity? AI allows creative people to really not be bound by any restrictions. You can do anything now. So these are all things we're going to talk about. We're going to use AI to feel more comfortable, to get better at our jobs, to make our schools more productive. And then how do we then have our students use it properly? What is the big questions they have? How do we give our students an AI aha moment that just doesn't tell them the answer, right? And this is what we're going to cover in the workshop. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch this video. If you attended live, I also want to thank you for joining us. Please, if you're interested, sign up for the workshop. It's a tremendous opportunity. It's free. It's offered by the University of Texas. We're just trying to help out all the administrators and principals out there who feel like they're being left behind during this AI craze. So I hope you enjoyed this informative webinar, and I hope I see you at the workshop.